Hello. Hey. What up? Look at my dirt box. My box is now full of dirt. I will explain this more on Monday. I'm not going to explain it right now. But just be aware, it's dirt. I sound eepy. I'm tired, but that's okay. That's okay. He's so cute. He has such a baby face. Yeah, this guy do have a baby face. You're right. This is true. This is true. We'll take a look at him in a hot minute. Hello, good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope everybody's had a good weekend so far, because I am here to fucking ruin it. Today we're going to look at the first in our list of... I've been given a list from, like, conservatives to go and check out to go watch. So, this guy's the first one on the chopping block, so we'll see how he does. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure this is gonna go well, but, you know, wish me luck, I guess. You'll notice that I have decided to change the counter here to my beer fund, because I think I need that more. So if you want to contribute to my beer fund, if that yeah, do it. I don't know anything about this guy. Alright, I don't know anything about him. I have no idea what the hell he's about to say to me, but this is the first thing that comes up on his page, and it says the National Telegraph. The National Telegraph is the home of Canadian political commentary videos from this guy. So I'm already getting, like, I don't want to be too judgy too fast, but I'm getting really judgy really quick. This is like if I said, Debate Hub, the place where you find Chesh videos. Like, it's your channel. Why does it have a weird fucking title name to make it sound more important than it is? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're posturing right out the gate, and that's kind of... I'm already cringing. It's not a good start. But, you know, that's okay. That's okay. That's just... Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just a me problem. I think my... There we go. Maybe that's just a me problem. And, you know, I'll get over it. On the other hand, we don't pick on people's looks here unless they deserve it. But I am not going to ignore that this man looks like Dwight from The Office. Right out the gate. So that's fun. We got that going for us, which is nice. This is who I was told. Yeah, like, listen, look at my hair. I got a hair clip in. My hair clip's back. I need to shave. But you know, let's see what he has to say. We're gonna watch the first thing that we see on the channel. The first thing that we see on the channel is this video that is titled "Carney just lost the Liberals Carney just lost the Liberals the 2026 election from 3 months ago." Now, as of 3 months ago, the Liberals were, what's the word I'm looking for? Winning? The Liberals have a majority as of, like, a couple of weeks ago. So, having this as your front-running video might not be the great... Oh, hey, Coxcall, good to see you. In the UK, the Telegraph is nicknamed the Tory Graph. That's funny. That's appropriate. That seems like it tracks. So I'm just gonna start with the first thing, right? I'm just gonna start with this video. It's the first one on the channel. So this is like our first take of this guy. It's the first thing he wants us to see. Talks about, oh my god, he talks about himself in the third person. Talks about Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Liberals' terrible play on cozying up with communist China and Qatar as a way to get back at Trump and the United States. Wyatt talks about why this is an easy issue for the Polyev conservatives to beat the liberals on if a new election is called in 2026. Prediction aged like milk. Yeah, it's only been 3 months. It's only been 3 months. So we'll start with this. This is the first thing he wants us to see. I don't know why this is the first thing he wants us to see, but look at this already. Majority at risk. Okay. Alright. Alright, we're gonna start with this one. It's the first video he wants us to watch. First thing we see when we get to his channel. Let's start with this. 3 months ago.
I do not pretend to know why Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Liberals...
Hold on. Closed captioning. There we go.
I do not pretend to know why Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Liberals are cozying up with China and Qatar right now, but what I...
Really? It seems pretty obvious to me. Like, does it not seem obvious as to why hasn't Mark Carney not been clear about why he's going around the globe to fucking court other countries and their economies and their products and their businesses? It seems kind of obvious to me. But, you know, okay.
I do know is that this is ballot box poison for the Liberal Party. While, yes, most Liberal voters are so anti-American, they will be happy with Carney realigning Canada with China, Qatar, and other anti-American countries around the planet. But...
Sorry, I'm going to pause him on the period, but... My guy, it's not liberals that are anti-American. That's just a gross misrepresentation about the opinions of Canada. There's a lot of Canadians who are unhappy with the Trump administration and their attacks and economic terrorism on our country and the way they've handled other global economic issues. And global issues on a whole. So, like, for example, Ukraine. Or Iran right now. So, it's not anti-American. It's not anti-America. It's just not. Having a negative view of America also when they're punching you in the face is kind of valid. But it's not the liberals, quote unquote. It's kind of fucking everybody. But oh well, go on. This is not a good start. Misrepresentation in the first 30 seconds, not a great start. But that's okay, it's okay. Let's keep going.
I think there are quite a few Liberal voters left over who will be very uncomfortable with what Carney is doing right now and be likely to move over and vote for the Conservatives. This is the category of voter that I've called the business liberal.
My guy, there's more than just one other option. If people aren't happy with what Carney is doing, they could vote for the NDP, they could vote for the Green Party, they could vote for... There's like... two on the conservative side. There's like the standard blue conservatives and the purple guys, like the PCP, I think is what they're called. So there's more than just because they don't like something Mark Carney is doing does not inherently mean that they're going to swing over to the conservative side of the fence, quote unquote. Yeah, and Canada has had trade agreements with China for years. Yeah, correct. You're absolutely right, Polar. Yeah. Years! Trudeau was hanging out and talking with the Communist Party of China when he was in office, and he got a lot of flack for it. So, like, I don't think so. I'm gonna X to doubt. I really don't think this is gonna be an issue, the way he's presenting it, but go on.
Over time, it's a voter who is probably not socially conservative, but they really care about the economy, and they shift between the parties based on who they think will bring more stability. So in the last election, they voted for Carney over Polyev because, well, he's already the incumbent, and maybe because of his business acumen, he might be able to get us a trade deal with Donald Trump and the Americans.
That is not why nobody was voting for Mark Carney to get us a trade deal with the Americans. We already have a trade deal with the Americans. The Americans are violating that trade deal. That was not the reason. Dealing with Donald Trump doesn't mean make a deal with Donald Trump. Do you understand the difference between those two things? Does the bloc never run anywhere else other than Quebec? I believe that's correct. I don't think the bloc exists outside of Quebec. I think it is a Quebec exclusive party. Like, they don't let anybody else exist outside of Quebec, from my understanding. Acumen. Yeah, the word is acumen. Correct. Feels like post hoc rationalization. It does. It does. It feels like post hoc rationalization by somebody who doesn't understand what the reasons were in the first place.
And that turned out to not
read a Wikipedia entry on this guy. Okay, we will. I want to get a feel for him without any, like, right now I have no bias. This is the first time I've seen this guy. I don't know anything about him. So I want to see what he says first. And then I'll read it, and then we'll read the Wikipedia article.
Be true. So many of these people were probably already likely to jump ship from the Liberals and join the Conservatives, but this just cemented.
I don't buy that people who want a more stable economy are going to go to Pierre Poilievre to get that. Like, what about Pierre Poilievre makes you think he's going to be good for the economy at all? Oh, I thought you were telling me to read a Wikipedia about this guy. Hey, Crazy, what's going on? Welcome. I don't know anything about this guy, and we're just checking him out because I was told to go and watch this guy because he has, like, reasonable views and political insight. So that's why we're here. Cola! That's not very nice. I'm not sure what about Pierre Poilievre people think, or even, like, conservatives, liberals, doesn't matter. I don't care where you fall on the political spectrum, where I've watched Pierre Poilievre. I read some of his policies. I have a hard time buying that he would be good at the economy at all, let alone compared to Mark Carney and Mark Carney's resume. Right? That's just where I'm coming from. But if you have a reason why you think Pierre Poilievre would be independent, like, just on his own, like, independent of whatever you believe about the Liberals or you think Mark Carney's a bad person, I don't care. If you think Pierre Poilievre is going to be good for the economy, how? In what way? Crazy Krabby Jr. says conservatives with reasonable views. That has never existed and will never exist. I mean, listen, don't spoil it. How did you know? How did you know what was going to happen? How could you possibly foresee the chaos about to unfold? How could you know? How could they know? How could you? Oh, my lamp is broken. Lamp, no, why are you broke? My lamp is broken. Oh, I knocked it with my chair. Ugh. Okay, I fixed it. Lamp. Okay, there we go. All right, go, talk.
That they cannot vote Liberal next time because, goodness, these people, seeing as they care about the economy, do not want Carney to shred our relationship with our biggest trade partner. You know, the trade.
Please let me know how Mark Carney has been shredding the relationship with the United States. I don't see how he as an individual is responsible for that. I don't even see how Canada is responsible for that. I can understand, like, being like, maybe Doug Ford shouldn't be paying for an ad that has Ronald Reagan's words about tariffs on them. Like, I can understand that being, like, sassy, and maybe you don't like that. Okay, fine. I think that's fucking hilarious. But you might not like that. But I don't see how that's Carney's responsibility. Especially since Doug Ford is a conservative. Like, you know what I'm talking about? So, like, I have a hard time believing that. And the other thing is, nobody's plan for Canada's economy is to cut off the United States in totality. It's about rebalancing where our economic eggs are. So like if all of our eggs are in the basket of the United States, then the United States and its economy has a lot of sway and power over what we in Canada are doing. Whether its economy crashes, whether or not da 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 da. And if you haven't noticed, the United States is kind of a fucking shit show right now. And so maybe not putting your eggs in the Nazi fascist pedophile basket is probably not the worst idea. Like, probably not the worst idea. But not putting choosing not to put our eggs in the basket is not anti-American either. It's nothing personal, right? It's just good economics. I would cut off the United States. I have a dual citizenship to American and you're from Norway. Oh, interesting. If we could cut off the United States in totality, that might not be a terrible idea, but we can't. We're too geographically tied together, unfortunately.
Partner that we trade with 78%. No. Carney is now going to realign Canada and trade more with our second biggest trade partner that we trade with by exactly 4.9%. Yeah.
My guy. My guy, you're saying this like Mark Carney has changed his platform. He was saying that at the beginning. It's one of the reasons why he got elected. He was like, we rely too much on the United States for trade. Too much of our trade, 78% of our trade is with the United States. We need to diversify our portfolio. And I don't know who he's talking about 4.9. So maybe he'll tell us.
Yes. Good maneuvering, Carney. Like, Carney probably thinks he's making this super intelligent bank shot foreign relations play whereby meeting with China and meeting with Qatar, he's going to force Trump and the Americans to the negotiating table on trade. But
I don't think he thinks that. There is still ongoing negotiations. There has been ongoing negotiations the whole time. He doesn't have to do anything to bring them back to the table. What are you talking about? Oh my god, dude, get that American boot out of your mouth. Yeah, I know, right? Can we get boots in the chat? Can we get boots in the chat? I think there's a boot emoji, right? I think there's a boot. There's gotta be a boot. Hold on. Boot. Yeah, there is. Boot.
Even as I say that sounds way too smart for Carney to actually be doing. It's probably he's just doing this out of spite. Carney, at his exterior, looks very cool under pressure because he's fundamentally a very boring political character. He doesn't look like...
Damn. Oh, I long for the day when politics were boring. Do you guys remember when politics were fucking boring? Man, I loved when fucking politics was boring as shit. I didn't feel like I needed to pay attention to what the fuck was going on. Bankers famously make economic decisions out of spite. As if Canadians aren't like the most petty little motherfuckers ever and wouldn't absolutely vote for somebody out of spite. They absolutely fucking would. Remember when personality was like the not as important part about politics? Hey, remember when there was a whole ass drive to force politics into being about personality? Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good thing. And the fact that this is something you long for and are salivating over is kind of cringe.
It much rattles him. But he has been rattled. You can tell he's frustrated that he, as the guy who promised that he's the great Trump whisperer and he's dealt with him before and he could make a deal with Donald Trump.
He literally never said that. I don't know where the fuck you're getting that from.
That he hasn't gotten one done, and now he's stomping his feet, walking out, and he's going to go to Xi Jinping's house and trade with him instead.
There's nothing stopping Canada from trading with the United States and with China. Yeah, this guy's fantasizing real hard. Jesus Christ.
It's funny. This is like the biggest mistake so far of Carney's government, and it's in reaction to him being frustrated by what is now his second biggest mistake, which is not getting the trade deal with the United States signed yet. It's maddening. But we're going to go through some posts today from Poilievre's conservatives.
Does you have a single fucking citation for any of the shit that you're saying? He hasn't provided anything at all so far. Oh boy.
Reacting to what the Carney liberals are doing, because this is an open season issue for the conservatives. This is going to be a turkey shoot. It's so easy to find to find targets on the liberals on this issue, because Carney is directly a hypocrite when it comes to the China issue. And then I also want to talk about the posts that the liberals have been making themselves trying to sell this thing. The videos they've been putting out about this have been dystopian. That is
the fucking he's trying to prime the audience so hard that it's making me suspicious. Yeah, we have a signed trade agreement with the United States right now, and it was signed by Trump. This video is from 3 months ago, but guess what? 3 months ago, we still had a signed trade agreement with the United States that was signed by Trump 3 months ago. Bro, it's dystopian. American dollar has been falling apart globally because of Trump. Oh yeah, it has. Hell yeah, it has. I'm waiting for him to start printing money. Yeah, they fucking obliterated the debt ceiling with his big, beautiful bill, and the United States, as of like last month, or this past month, now no longer has a GDP that's making enough to cover the cost of the debt. So, yippee! Yikes!
Is the only word you can really put to a lot of this stuff. And I'm not just talking about the clip of Carney talking about China leading a new world order. I'm talking about just the moments in videos without dialogue and the images they decided to show. But anyways, before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys, if you like the channel and you like my videos, make sure to leave a like on this channel.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Follow, like, subscribe, consider becoming a member. Follow the Patreon. I give out free shit on the Patreon if you want that. I give out free shit all the time. Because Carney bribed them. Oh, you know this guy has a kettlebell with Pierre brushed on it. Defund CBC sticker in his background. Defund the CBC? Well, that is obviously because he's posting that out of spite because of the bumper sticker, because of this bumper sticker. Hold on. Obviously. I mean, I only don't know anything about the guy. This is the first time I've seen him, so I'm obviously know how to like dissect and talk about what he's fucking... Obviously, his bumper sticker is a response to this bumper sticker, right? Oh, should I put this back here for now? There we go. Okay, go on.
Video, subscribe if you are not yet a subscriber. Leave a comment with what you think about all this, and if you really want to help the channel,
you do not want me to leave a comment, I promise you.
Out, you can go below the video and hit the join button and join one of the 2 tiers to help sustain the channel, because it allows me to be...
I'm gonna press the join button. I want to see. What do we get? What do we get? They're all crossed out. Oh, I got a promo. Ooh, okay, what do we get? Loyalty badges. What do we get? We don't get anything? Guys, I say hey to. The Ahoy Club. I will attempt to be more responsive, but will still try to serve all viewers. What? So, if I pay you, you give me nothing? I get loyalty badges and then that's it? And then sometimes you'll try to respond to what, my comment? Like, what this is shit. This is boo! Alright, keep going.
Be less reliant on the YouTube algorithms and not have revenues dictated by how viral a video is. That's kind of what leads a lot of people into doing heavy amounts of clickbait, is they get disappointed that a video didn't do so well, so they only start making videos on very particular issues that they can clickbait the heck out of, and I've always avoided doing that. So if you appreciate
I respect that, fair enough.
Style, potentially think about contributing. But now let's get into it, and let's start with this video.
it's fucking not, light mode. Oh, good God. My eyes. My fucking eyes. Why? Why is it in light mode? Good fucking Lord. God. Which of these two men do you agree with? From January 16th? This was 3 months ago. January 17th. Okay, that makes sense.
Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the federal conservatives, posted yesterday. And the video he has, he put a header on the video that says, which of these two men do you agree with? And of course, the joke of this video is both men he's going to show here are...
Don't tell the joke before you play the video. Play the video. Why are you explaining the joke? Do you think your audience isn't going to get the joke and that's why you feel like you have to explain? How do you have to preamble the joke? Okay.
Mark Carney.
I think the biggest security threat to Canada is China.
Sure.
We're heartened by the leadership of President Xi Jinping and the speed with which our relationship has progressed in recent months. And I believe...
Okay, so from April 17th to 2025 and January 15th, 2026. Hey, you want to know how you get somebody to no longer be a threat to you? Become their ally. Usually that works pretty well, you know, unless you're Donald Trump. But my guy, time exists and things happen between point A and point B. If you want someone to no longer be an enemy, being amicable with them is a route you can take. Just because you're agreeing to trade with China also does not mean they're inherently no longer a risk. Oh my God, it's the same problem as we talked about on Friday. Hey, you guys remember on Friday when I was talking about that Pierre Poilievre was claiming that these two things were contradictory, and they're not contradictory? Two things can be true at the same time. Guy said different things at a different time, under different contexts. Do you think Carney's gonna fly to Beijing and sit in front of, like, the CCP parliament and say, you guys are our greatest security threat, fuck you? Like, what do you think he's gonna, what are you talking about? Oh my God. Negative 10 billion social credits. Oh my God, far better to start negotiations than a war. I know, right? This stream is like 5 hours long now. No, I don't want to be here for 5 hours today. No.
The progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new...
Progress we have made in a partnership means they could have been a threat, and then we're working towards them not being a threat, and they've made progress between point A and point B. Wow.
new
Jeez, man.
world order.
Like, what a creepy video of Mark Carney, too. Like, I'm not too conspiratorial whenever someone says New World Order. I understand what Carney means by that. It's stupid. It's a very dark thing he's saying, but
Is it? Why? Like, I guess I can agree that I don't necessarily agree with the phrasing, but, like, what? You just said you're not conspiratorial about it, and then said it was dark. So, are you sure? Yeah, I don't, can you, what? Did you have to explain the joke ahead of time because you didn't think your audience was gonna understand the joke? Xi Jinping will be at your doorstep with a bottle of honey and the entire CPP army to arrest Carney. China is a more stable partner than the United States. Think about it. Yeah, that's true. Right now, China is doing a lot to try to take as much of the pie that America is leaving behind. So pretending China doesn't exist and doesn't have a massive population and doesn't have a massive amount of shit we need and a massive amount of people to sell shit to is silly. Ah!
fully understand what he means. He thinks
Do
that
you?
America has too much power. They're creating all these problems in the world, especially under Donald Trump. I disagree with that framing, but that's what Mark Carney thinks.
Why? Why do you disagree with that framing? That would be interesting. That might be actually something we could discuss. Please put some meat on this bare bones shit. I feel like I'm back to the same problem that I talk about almost every time I am engaging with conservatives, or every time, like when they come into my side chat, or every time I'm covering videos like this. You're just making statements and pretending you're presenting something. You're not making an argument. You're not making a point. You're literally just saying a thing. And there's like, what? This doesn't mean anything.
And so it's good that China is charting its own course with other parts of the world, and that will basically create a new order to the world where it's not so America-centric. One, that's not a good thing, but did Carney really have to say it in that, like, again...
I don't think that's... I feel like you're leaving out that Carney has placed Canada as a leader in that area. Not China. China's going to be a leader, but not the leader. We don't want China to replace the United States and have China take over the exact position that America was taking, right? There's also a difference between, like, whatever. Okay, keep going.
Dystopian way where at the end of the sentence he like slows down, like it's a trailer moment that's supposed to creep the audience out, and he's like, and I'm happy.
Bro, he's in Beijing speaking English. He's speaking slowly for the translators. This man's interpretation is so fantastical. He's watched... Guys, this man's been watching too many movies. This guy watches too much drama. Remember Trump threatened to annex Canada? Why would Canada want to continue the same relationship when all MAGA did was chant that Canada should be the 51st state? Yeah, great question. Great. Yeah, why would that be a good thing for us, dude? Is this guy even Canadian? I'm curious. I wonder. He's got a legal fund? Why does he have a legal fund? Wait. Bro, why do you have a legal fund? Wait, what? Hold on. What is this? Okay. Legal fund. What the fuck? 11,000 US dollars? Telegraph is an up-and-coming independent news site reports on... God, the English! The National Telegraph is an up-and-coming independent news site reports on insider political scandals and corruption, which puts us at risk of lawsuits from members of the political establishment. Let me zoom this in so you guys can see it better. It's kind of cut off. Hold on, let me fix this. Let me adjust this for you guys so you can see it. This is fucking... Holy moly. Holy moly! This is, guys. 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 Guys, please. My guy. Boobala. Don't do this. Alright, there we go. You can see it better now. And zoom it in some more. There you go. How's that? The National Telegraph Legal Fund. The National Telegraph is the National Telegraph, as an up-and-coming independent news site, reports on insider political scandals and corruption, which puts us at risk of lawsuits from members in the political establishment. Of the political establishment. Members of the political establishment. The National Telegraph co-operator, WyattClaypool, has been fighting a lawsuit against a billionaire political insider for an article published by a guest writer which talked about Aaron O'Toole and the person who filed the defamation lawsuit against Wyatt and TNT. Watt has been restraining former Albertan Justice Minister Jonathan Dennis at Guardian Law to fight the... Oh, retaining, not restraining. Retaining, sorry, my bad. Has been retaining former Alberta Justice Minister Jonathan Dennis at Guardian Law to fight the defamation lawsuit. So far, Watt and TNT have been winning, filing around a dozen pieces of evidence to back up the claims of the published article, while the complainant in the case has filed only 4 pieces of evidence, none of which shows any statements TNT published were defamatory or inaccurate. Based on the success so far, Wyatt would like to push to win the case. Up to this point, Wyatt has paid over $1,500 in legal fees for this one case, but back in late 2020 and early 2021 paid another $5,000 to defend against another old tool-related lawsuit. This lawsuit thankfully has seemingly been resolved, as the person who filed against TNT and TNT co-operator Daniel Boardman has not filed anything since TNT filed its statement of defense more than 2 years ago. But due to the high cost incurred by Wyatt, we are looking to raise money in order to lighten the burden. The National Telegraph has never operated as a website that requires payment to read articles or watch videos, blah, 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 blah. But because we don't make money up front on the website, we have to ask for donations in order to help us pay for the... Oh my god. Where's the lawsuit? Where's the lawsuit? Where's the lawsuit? Link to me the lawsuit, guys. I need to find this. Where is it? You got several red flags? Oh, really? Several red flags? Yeah, don't mind my unofficial dyslexia as I struggle my way through reading that. Twitter, Facebook, Telegram. Okay. Well, we're going to have to go through that lawsuit. We're going to have to look at that, right? We have to. We have to. Right.
Happy that China is going forward and helping lead us into a new world order. And it's like,
yes. Mark Carney is going to be angry that China is willing to negotiate to make money in trade deals. Of course.
He should have just had his face get more and more dark and shadowy as he was saying it. It was horrible. But again, Carney has gone full circle. From Justin Trudeau saying he admires China's basic dictatorship to Carney running for office saying, oh, I think they're our biggest security threat. And now he's back at admiring a basic dictatorship like Trudeau was.
I can understand being critical of dealing with China, but pretending that China is we have to work with China. We can't just pretend they don't exist. And back to, if you want China to not be a dictatorship, if you don't like the Communist Party of China, the CPC, what is it? The CPP? Communist Party, what is it? CPP, right? If you don't like the CPP, or you don't want the CPP to be in control of China, and you're not Chinese, you don't really get that much of a say about it, do you? If you want to influence other places without being like a dictatorial freak, then what you do, or an authoritarian douchebag, CCP, thank you, the Chinese Communist Party, there it is, CCP. There we go, we got there, thank you. If you want China to move away from its current style of governance, then what you want to do is interact with the people of China. Because interacting with the people of China will enforce different values and show different ideas, and you can, democracy your way into them making a different decision. It's not up to Canada to change China's government structure. It's not up to us. That's up to the people of China. If the people of China want to change what they're doing, being on good terms with them is a good thing. If they want to change things and their government is being oppressive, if we are in a partnership, communicative position with China, we can help those people. Then we can make a difference. We can't make a difference as a straight up political enemy all of the time. We are not the United States. We're not gonna go into China guns blazing and just fucking take out Xi Jinping and be like, yeah, we're done here. Pretend like we fucking helped. Like, that's not how Canada operates. Nor is it how we should operate. Nor is it how anybody should operate. That's a bad way to do things. It's not helpful. It doesn't really help anybody. We're not gonna pull a Guatemala. You know what I mean? So what do you want? Do you want Canada to fucking just authoritarian tell the Chinese people what kind of government they should have and then enforce that? No. No, absolutely not. Again, I can disagree. There's lots of things about the Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party that I don't like. But it's not up to me. I'm not Chinese. I don't live there. Turning the freaking frogs gay.
I remember I was posting all these jokes about the liberals and how pro-CCP they are, and that was before...
Jokes. So if the liberals were already, like I said earlier, under Trudeau, dealing with the CCP, why do you think Carney continuing to do that will move liberals away from the Liberal Party? Clearly the liberals have already accepted that this is a thing.
Or he had said that line about China, and I even knew at the time that was a very smart thing for him to do, to reassure people this is a new government under Mark Carney, and we are going to align less with China, we're going to be less soft on China, and be more hawkish on foreign policy. And maybe that's even something
you can do both of those things, as long as you do it correctly. You can be more strict about this thing over here, and still make... Fucking, if you want, yeah, exactly. So is what Feline said. So now Mark Carney is smart? Earlier he said he was stupid. Is that not contradictory? By this guy's logic, yes. Yeah, he's just misrepresenting what being like pro-CCP. Like, no, being willing to work with one of the biggest economies in the world. Because why the fuck would we not? We kind of have to.
He can work with the United States on. But since the election, no trade deal, no alignment.
We already have a trade deal
with the United States. And in fact, we are getting the opposite. Trade deals without...
At the beginning, when Carney first got elected, 86% of Canadians were on board of fuck the United States. 86%. Now that's fallen since then to around 70-something. 70-some-odd percentage of an entire population of a country, my guy.
The United States, an alignment away from the United States. But let's move on to the next video I want to show, and it's this dude.
What? Actually, yeah, now I'm wondering, does he want to go to war with China? I don't want to go to war with China. Try to convince a PP follower, but it's hard to change their mindset. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's just gonna move on. That's okay, I'll wait. I'm waiting. He acknowledges that most of Canada wants to move away from the United States. Yes. But then complains that our government is doing what the people want. Yeah. I need more beer. Fill up my beer fund. Fill up my beer fund. I need help.
Where Carney pitches the idea that Canada and China have a lot to do for each other, and we should be aligned closer because of culture and tourism.
I mean, what's the problem with that? I want to sell maple syrup to China.
Finally, people have always been at the core of this relationship. As I said, Canada is home to a Chinese diaspora of 2 million. Over 300,000
Why are you shaking your head? Do you disagree with that number? There are a lot of people from China who live in Canada. One of the reasons is because we have one of the best we have some of the best universities in the world. Should be a psychedelic drug fund instead. I don't think I can get away with that. The population diversity Canada. Let's check out what the diversity in the population, the demographic says. Whoops. I'm citation needing this. Statistics Canada. The census. There is a census coming this year as well, so. Do we have... Ah, here we go. This is 2021. So, Filipino, Norwegian, British Isles, Chinese. Less than 32.5%, between 32.5% and 51.7%, more than 51%. 51.7. Size of the bubble is proportional to the number of total responses for a given ethnic or cultural origin. The color of the bubble represents the portion of single responses for a given ethnic or cultural origin grouped or tertiles. This is as of 2021. Canadian, French, English, Irish, Filipino, British Isles, Norwegian, Ukrainian, Russian, Scottish, German, Dutch, Welsh, First Nations, French Canadian, European, Quebecois, Métis. Look at how big China is. China is a little bit bigger than Indian. He knows Chinese people built the railway, right? They have been here forever, which I imagine is his head shaking stuff. Yeah, no, China has been a part of building Canada. To pretend that Chinese people haven't been part of our country and our culture for fucking ever is insane. But this is as of 2021. So, you know, take that for what you will. I'll leave this off to the side in case we need it later.
These visitors came to Canada in 2024. China is Canada's 7th largest source of tourism. So the 5th pillar of this partnership
McCafe! Blah boo!
will build on opportunities for cultural exchanges and partnerships that further deepen our people-to-people ties. That means...
Right. Because if you want to influence what government structure a people is using, getting to know their people is probably a pretty good way to do that.
Museums, digital content creators, visual artists, and other creative professionals in our respective countries will have...
Pretending that China doesn't have cool shit because you don't like their government is kind of fucking also crazy. China got some cool fucking shit. A lot of Chinese people came to Canada when Hong Kong was turned over to communist China. Go figure. Who'd have thought?
Have new opportunities to collaborate.
No doubt this is going to make up for the fact that we can't get a trade deal signed.
We have a trade deal signed with the United States. I can't get a trade deal signed. What a joke. You don't know what you're talking about, my guy.
With the trade partner that we do 78% of our exports to. You don't...
How are we doing 78% of our exports to the country that we have no trade deal with? I'm going to repeat the question. How do we not have a deal with somebody that we're doing 78 of our exports to? How are we possibly trading 78% of our exports to somewhere with no deal whatsoever? How is that possible? He wants 2 trade deals. Can I let Wyatt go more than 3 words before I interrupt? If he says something true or accurate, sure. If he keeps fucking lying or demonstrating how much of a fucking dipshit he is, then no. I can't. I can't do it. I don't have that kind of self-control. I can't handle listening to slop going in my ear that quickly. I gotta slow him down. Go ask the question. Hey, Vincent! Vincent. Do we have a trade deal with the United States? Do we have a trade deal with the United States? Yes or no? I'll wait. It's fine. Want me to put some music on? I'll sing for you if you'd like. Boo! Ask him the math question. The math question's a good one. All right, I'll put it back. Go, talk.
No doubt this is going to make up for the fact that we can't get a trade deal signed with the trade partner that we do 78% of our exports to. Don't worry, guys. We're going to bring in Chinese digital creators to replace it all. We're good now. We're fine. We're aces because Carney is going to let Chinese tourists come to Canada easier.
It also means...
Was that long enough before I'm allowed to say something?
What?
I'm not talking to you. Oh. One of my roommates yelled at me. Yeah, it isn't 78 anymore. That's also true. So James is saying, yes, we do have a deal. Is that a yes? Is that a yes to the yes or no question of do we have a deal with the United States right now? Is that a yes? Sounds like a yes. So that means Wyatt's lying to you. Either Wyatt is lying to you or he doesn't know. Do you guys think that Wyatt knows that CUSMA exists? Yes, CUSMA remains in place even if it is expired. Yes, there is a few caveats for the way CUSMA works when it comes to getting a deal. Vincent, you couldn't answer the first question. Yes or no? It's not hard, my man. Yes or no? Does Canada currently have an agreement, a trade agreement with the United States? Yes or no? Yeah, expired is the wrong word. Correct. Yes or no? Come on, it's a yes or no question. I'll put the timer up. We'll put the timer. I'll put the timer up. It's a yes or no question. Good Lord. I don't want to make James have to suffer through waiting for Vincent here to catch up because James seems already a little bit more chill. So while we're waiting, let me pull up the CUSMA. Let me pull up the CUSMA. Let me actually pull up the way the deal works. Canada, United States, Mexico agreement. All right, here we go. Boop. There it is. Canada, the United States, Mexico created the largest free trade region in the world, generating economic growth and helping to raise the standard of living for the people of all three member countries. The Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement, CUSMA, reinforces Canada's strong economic ties with the United States and Mexico. Vincent, yes or no? Yes or oui ou no? Oui ou no? All right. What part do you want to know? You want latest news? You want to see the latest news? Joint statement on the fourth meeting of Environmental Committee of the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement. From December 16th, 2025. No, you want the virtual public session of the meeting of the United States, the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement Environment Committee? No? Does that sound boring to you? You want to see the terms and conditions? Want me to pull up the Wikipedia article? Will that be better for you guys? A free trade agreement among the United States, Mexico, and Canada effective July 1st, 2020. It replaced the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, implemented in 1994. Sometimes characterized as NAFTA 2.0 or New NAFTA. Vincent, yes or no? Yes or no? This isn't that hard. The fact that you can't answer a yes or no question is not... Guys, this struggle is so real. Why is this question so difficult for you? All sides came to a formal agreement on October 1st, 2018, and United States President Donald Trump proposed USMCA during the G20 summit the following month, where he, Mexican President Enrique, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau signed it. So it's called the USMCA in the United States. It's called CUSMA in Canada. A revised version reflecting additional consultations was signed on December 10th, 2019. It was ratified by all three countries, with Canada being the last to ratify on March 13th, 2020. Following notification by all three governments, the provisions were ready for domestic implementation. The agreement came to effect on July 1st, 2020. All right. USMCA is primarily a modernization of NAFTA, blah, 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 blah. The United States trade war with Canada and Mexico began on February 1st, 2025, when, at the beginning of his second non-consecutive term, President Trump cited a, quote, extraordinary threat posed by illegal aliens and drugs, and imposed an additional 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico. One day before they are set to take effect, the tariffs were paused for 30 days from February 4th to March 4th after Canada and Mexico agreed to increase national security measures at their respective borders with the United States and allow for negotiations on economic agreements. Canada and Mexico accused the United States of violating the USMCA when 25% tariffs went into effect on March 4th, 2025. On March 6th, 2025, 2 days after the tariff took place, Trump announced that all USMCA complaint products would be exempt from the tariffs until April 2nd, 2025. Guys, I think Vincent is broken. Vincent can't answer a yes or no question. Yeah, they're all called different things, blah, 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 blah. During the 2016 U.S. presidential election, Donald Trump campaigned including promises to renegotiate NAFTA or cancel it if renegotiations were to fail. Upon election, Trump proceeded to make a number of changes affecting trade relations with other countries, withdrawing from the Paris Agreement, ceasing to be part of negotiations for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and significantly increasing tariffs with China, reinforcing that he was serious about seeking changes to NAFTA, while drawing wide criticism as well. One journal noted that much of the debate surrounding the virtues and faults of the USMCA is similar to that surrounding the free trade agreements. For instance, the nature of FTAs as public goods, potential infringements of national sovereignty, and the role of business, labor, environmental, and consumer interests in shaping the language of trade deals. Provisions of the agreement cover a wide range, including agricultural produce, homelessness, manufactured products, labor conditions, and digital trade, among others. Some of the more prominent aspects of the agreement include U.S. dairy farmers' greater access to the Canadian market. Guidelines have to have a higher proportion of automobiles manufactured among the three nations rather than imported from elsewhere, and retention of the dispute resolution system similar to that included in NAFTA. Dairy, automobiles, blah, 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 labor, intellectual property, fucking copyright. Fucking copyright. I hated this part. pharmaceuticals, elimination of foreign office and local presence requirements, dispute settlement mechanisms. There are 3 primary dispute settlement mechanisms contained in NAFTA. Chapter 20 is the country-to-country resolution mechanism. It is often regarded as the least contentious of the 3 mechanisms and was sustained in its original NAFTA form in the USMCA. Such cases would involve complaints between USMCA member states that a term of the agreement had been violated. Chapter 19, disputes manage justification of anti-dumping or countervailing duties. Without Chapter 19, the legal recourse for managing these policies would be through the domestic legal system. Chapter 19 specifies that the USMCA panel will hear a case and act as an international trade court in arbitrating disputes. The Trump administration attempted to remove Chapter 19 from the new USMCA text, though it has thus far endured it through the agreement. Chapter 11 is the third mechanism known as investor-state dispute settlement, wherein multinational corporations are enabled to sue participating governments over alleged discriminatory policies. Chapter 11 is, we're past that 5 minutes. The problem is the tariffs on steel, auto, lumber. Oh, sorry. Hold on. It went away. Vincent is getting in the way. Vincent, you're getting in the way. Get out of the way, Vincent. Move. The problem is the tariff on steel, auto, lumber, aluminum are heavy, and to be fair, Canada has violated CUSMA, not the Americans. James, real quick, can you tell me how you think Canada has violated the agreement? In the meantime, I'll let this play. I know you're typing, so it's going to take a hot minute to be able to, type it out, so take your time.
More tourism.
Whoa.
Including following China's decision in November to grant approved...
Does this guy think that more tourism is bad for us? Look at his face. My guy, tourism is literally free money. Yeah, plus the delay on YouTube.
Destination status for group travelers to Canada. And we're building on this progress, looking to increase travel, exchange, and deepen our cultural ties.
I don't want that. In fact, I don't want to be more aligned with China, seeing it as...
Did he say more aligned? I'm going to play that again. I got distracted reading the CUSMA deal, so I'm going to play this clip again.
To the next video I want to show, and it's this, and China have a lot...
Blah, blah, blah. I don't want your
And
preamble.
finally, people have always been at the core of this relationship. As I said, Canada is home to a Chinese diaspora of 2 million. Over 300,000 Chinese visitors came to Canada in 2024. China is Canada's 7th largest source of tourism. So the 5th pillar of this partnership will build on opportunities for cultural exchanges and partnerships that further deepen our people-to-people ties.
Sorry, James, I don't mean to give you a hard time. Typing half of a sentence at a time is not gonna, it's hard to understand what you're saying. So just type your full blurb and put it out.
That means museums, digital content creators, visual artists, and other creative professionals in our respective countries will have new opportunities to collaborate.
No doubt this is going to make up for the fact that we can't get a trade exports to. Don't worry, guys. We're aces because...
It also means more tourism.
Whoa.
Including following China's decision in November to grant approved destination status for group travelers to Canada. And we're building on this progress, looking to increase travel, exchange, and deepen our cultural ties.
I don't want that. In fact, I don't want to be more...
Yeah, no, he didn't say the word alignment. You read that into it. He didn't say alignment. There's also a difference between alignment and, political alignment, right? Why don't you want people from China to travel to Canada and spend money? Why don't you want to exchange with other cultures? Why don't you want to be a little hard to do with one hand? You're one hand typing, are you? Yeah, no, take your time, James. There's no rush. You take your time. No pressure. Just get your whole thought put together, and then if you feel like it, you can type in a notepad or something, and then put it in or something. Take your time. There's no worries. We ain't stressed. I just want the question that I'm asking you is, you said that Canada has violated CUSMA. Can you tell me in what way you believe Canada has violating CUSMA? Take your time answering. There's no rush.
Are aligned with China, seeing as it is as Trudeau said, a basic dictatorship under a communist system. I don't want closer cultural ties. In fact, dictatorship under a communist system. I don't want closer cultural ties. In fact, I want to be further away from China. I want to be closer to the United States. And
the United States has currently got a guy, an authoritarian fascist pedophile, that is trying to be a dictator. Does that not sound hypocritical to you? Does that not sound counterintuitive? No? You want to know one of the best ways to change a government when you're a foreign power? It's to be friendly with the people that live there. Because when you're friendly, when you're a what's the word I'm looking for? When you're a democracy, right? When you're a democracy, you interact with other places. And those other places are not democracies. Sometimes they'll see how great democracy is and be like, hey, we want that. And you go, yeah, sure. Here, we'll show you how it works. We'll tell you how it works. Or sometimes they'll see social programs and be like, hey, we want those social programs. But it's like, don't you not think it's kind of a little bit ironic to say, I don't want to hang out with the people of China. I don't want people from China to come and visit my country because I don't like their government? Does that sound odd to anybody else? Does that not sound kind of weird? That'd be like saying, I don't want to hang out with anybody. I don't want to hang out with anybody who's Jewish because I don't like Netanyahu. Like, fucking what? Why do we want to be closer to the guy who's punching us in the face? Yeah, that's a good point.
Am I annoyed with the tariffs from the United States? Sure, I'd be annoyed with them even if I was an American, because it's not good for the economy. But
sure.
Carney was such a bad negotiator up to this point. Dude, I would leverage...
Does he actually think Carney is the one doing the negotiations? It's Tom. It's not... It's not Carney literally being there. He's not the one... He's the prime minister. Sure, he's involved. It's a part of what he's doing. Pretty sure it's Dominic LeBlanc, isn't it? Who's in charge? Actually, now it's Janice. We actually have a new person now. It's a lady named Janice. Chief negotiator. Yeah. As of February 16th, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced that Honorable Janice Charette, or Charette? Charette? It's probably Charette. Has been appointed as the next chief trade negotiator to the United States. She brings 4 decades of experience across public policy and diplomacy. She has served at the highest level of Canada's public service, including twice as the clerk of the Privy Council and secretary to the cabinet. She also represented Canada's interests abroad, including as High Commissioner to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Working closely with the ambassador to Canada to the United States, Mark Wiseman, Janice will act as the senior advisor to the Prime Minister and the Minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade, Dominic LeBlanc. Yeah, on the upcoming Canada-US-Mexico agreement, CUSMA trade review, and strengthening the trade and investment relationships between Canada and the United States. Do you see anything in here that is about how we're cutting off negotiations? Do you see anything in here about how we're unwilling to trade with the United States at all? Is that anywhere in this fucking statement? So, okay, James has answered. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying here because I don't want to cut off our conversation. James said, in response to me asking how they believe that Canada has violated the trade agreement with the United States, has violated CUSMA. Oh, yeah, I'll read the bullet. That Canada has violated it, and James is saying, when we negotiated dairy into CUSMA, but the quota to import is so low that it makes it not practical, over the quota is 300%. So you're saying, like, Canada, Mexico, and the United States signed on to the agreement that included dairy, but the dairy inclusion was so little that it made it not feasible. How does that violate the agreement? The United States signed on to that agreement, right? So even if it is, let's pretend, right? Let's say for a second that let's say what James is saying is accurate in that the dairy market is not feasible. The US dairy market is not feasible in Canada due to the quantity that is allowed to be sold before it is tariffed, right? That's what you're saying. How is that a violation of the agreement if the United States agreed to that when they signed it in? It's okay, take your time. Because by that, it's not an agreement. You can disagree with that part of the agreement if you want. You want to see what dairy actually is? Let's take a look. We got it right here. Dairy. The dairy provisions give the United States tariff-free access up to 3.6% from the 3.25% under the never-ratified Trans-Pacific Partnership. So we gave them more of a percentage in CUSMA than they were agreeing to for the Trans-Pacific Partnership in CUSMA. Of the $15.2 billion as of 2016 of Canadians' dairy market, Canada agreed to eliminate Class 7 pricing provisions on certain dairy products, while Canada's domestic supply management system remains in place. So CUSMA gave the United States more than originally had, or what it was originally agreeing to. Up to 3.6. Free trade up to 3.6 of $15.2 billion. So what's 3.6% of $15.2 billion? Yes, Sand, I agree. Sandor, you absolutely, yes, Canada needs to protect itself. And it's, yes, of course. And the United States should also protect itself. And Mexico should also protect itself. That's what these negotiations are for. So, just because the United States no longer likes the provision it agreed to, that does not mean that there was a violation on Canada's part of the agreement. That's not what a violation is. If we were to do a violation, it would be that they get tariffed at any percent before that 3.6%. So if we were to suddenly tariff all dairy products at 25% at random, that would be a violation of CUSMA. right? What do you think, James? Let's go back to this for a hot minute. Where'd it go? Here we go. Quote, quick facts. The Canada-US-Mexico Agreement, CUSMA, came into force on July 1st, 2020 for a 16-year term. It includes a provision requiring a joint review beginning on its 6th anniversary, July 1st, 2026. Do you know what that means? It means CUSMA doesn't expire in July. It means it's up for review, and we agreed for 16 years as of 2020. What's 2020 plus 16, guys? What's... James. You have a product and I restrict your product in my country despite having an agreement. Is that free trade? Not... What do you mean? Yes, that is... Yes, correct. That is free trade. You agreed to the limit. You agreed to the restriction. If you agree to the restriction, then I'm not violating our free trade agreement. Because you agreed to the restriction. Sunday fun day. I know, right? I like James so far. James, I like you. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it, please. I beg of you. I want to keep liking you. But you said Canada violated the agreement. And I just showed you that there wasn't a violation based on the example you gave. Yeah, Canada wasn't the only one with stipulations, of course. Of course, there's stipulations to any agreement. That's why it's an agreement. With Trump, dates probably don't mean much. True. I would agree with that. Yep, I would agree with that for sure, but it's not up to Trump. One, it's not up to Trump. Trump's going to do whatever the fuck Trump's going to do anyway. And if that's the case, then what do you want Mark Carney to do about it? He's already violated the agreement. He already doesn't care about the CUSMA agreement that he signed. So why do we need to worry about it? You have noxious chemicals and I forced you to carry them in protective containers to sell them. Is this freedom? Fentanyl? Age is a number to Trump. Oh, no. Okay, 2036. Uh-huh, yeah. But what is stopping the states from leaving if they just need to make a deal with Mexico? There are, you know that these are legal agreements, right? That come with penalties? And do you... What do you think? What do you... Do you think this is just lines on paper? Maybe I don't have it all. Not a lawyer, I'm a plumber. Being a plumber is, like, one hell of a job. Are you a conservative? Me? No. If there's one thing I'm not, it's a conservative. I've been told that I've had conservatives trying to convince me. And so they told me to watch this guy, and it's been a bad time so far. Okay, so, James, you now are on the same page, right? Of saying that now you don't know that Canada has violated CUSMA, right? Just caught here, but this sounds like the average U.S. dairy industry being held up by federal government because they've been forced for the last 60 plus years. It's the federal government's doing, I'm helping, as they punch dairy farmers in the face repeatedly. Yes. Yeah, right? Yes. It's correct. CUSMA is not necessarily good for American dairy farmers. That's not Canada's fault. All right, let's keep going.
The fact that I want to partner with America against China as a reason why we should move closer with trade with the United States and get rid.
But why? Why should we? Why do you think we should trade closer with the United States and, in doing so, fight with China? Why can't we trade with China and with the United States at the same time?
Rid of the tariffs, that you need us to have a no tariff relationship if you are to fend off China. But in the midst of all this, because I guess our cultural ties are so important, we are in fact going to be throwing our own automotive sector under the bus. You know.
How? Because we're allowing China EVs? Yeah, no, I know you weren't blaming Canada. I'm more responding to this.
Not pardon the ironic ironic statement there that we're throwing our auto sector under a bus. But now, Carney, and this is what I mean by this is ballot box.
That could have been funny if you didn't ruin it by being a wet sock.
Poison what he's doing. It's not just the realignment that looks bad on foreign policy. It's bad for the economy. Now,
why does it look bad for foreign policy? You haven't explained that yet. You said, I don't like that China has a basic dictatorship, and then praised Donald Trump like he's not doing a basic dictatorship. What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm a big free market guy. I'm a big free trade guy.
But not with China. As long as it's only with the United States.
I want to trade freely with countries that are allies and are not trying to screw us over.
Okay, how do you make a country who is not an ally an ally? Do you want more allies? Is getting a new ally a good thing or a bad thing? Auto sector, you mean the sector that is the most dynamic? The sector that will be strengthened by building Chinese cars for the Canadian market? I know, right? Imagine bringing in another buyer and another industry outside of the United States so the United States can't destroy our automotive market because they sneezed the wrong way.
But now, through what Carney is doing, he's made an enemy of Doug Ford, and I do not like Doug Ford, but I can't exactly disagree with him fully here.
Nobody likes Doug Ford. Even the conservatives don't like Doug Ford.
This post from Trending Politics says, Premier Doug Ford blasts Canada-China EV deal as, quote, terrible miscalculation, unquote, warning of cheap Chinese imports flooding markets, hurting auto workers.
It sounds like Doug Ford doesn't understand what the deal says, and that the deal has restrictions on it. The same way CUSMA has restrictions on us. Not screw us over the rules of the United States. Yeah, I know, right?
And that is a problem for Carney. It's not free trade exactly when China just takes its excess EVs, which is a lot of them because it's a country of more than 1 billion people, and concentrating them into economies like Canada, which are obviously much smaller by population. You can...
What? What? How is that... What about what you said makes it not free trade? Do we need to... Are we at the point where we need to define what free trade is? I feel like we're at the point where we need to define what free trade is. What are you talking about? Feline points out, not to mention that cars are required to have a certain standard before it's allowed on Canadian roads. Not to mention that the cars... The excess EVs that he's saying that are built for China are just going to get shipped into Canada, which seems to be what he's saying, as if those cars are going to be able to survive Canada winter. My guy, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news here, but not every car on the planet is built to handle Canadian roads, particularly in the wintertime. If you would like an example of this, the Cybertruck. You have any idea how many videos there are of fucking Cybertrucks getting stuck in the snow? There's so many! And that was a car built in North America. You really think that just spare EVs that are allegedly lying around in China are gonna be able to just be shipped and be Canadian winter ready? Like, God, no, they're gonna. That's not how that works. Oh my god. Although it would be really funny, I'm not gonna lie. It would be very, very amusing.
Completely destroy an economy by just dumping cheap goods into it and not letting its own actual manufacturing sector like be able to sustain itself, because no one.
Okay, sure. I can agree that that could be a problem if China were to do that. Do you think China can do that to Canada? And do you think that's what the agreement says? If so, based on what? What are you basing that on? We also don't have an EV market in Canada. The only EVs that are here are either well-established fucking brands that aren't Canadian brands, but we do not have a car brand. Canada does not have a car brand. There is no Canadian-made brand of car. We don't have one. Ford, Hyundai, Toyota, Dodge, Chevrolet, Mazda. Why no car brand? Canada doesn't have a car brand. So what do we care if Ford, for example, gets bullied out by China's EVs? Why does Canada care? Because it's going to be cheaper for the Chinese EV market to fucking Volkswagen. Yeah, Volkswagen, hell yeah. If the Chinese brand of car, the EV, does well enough in Canada that they build a manufacturing plant in Canada because it's easier and cheaper to build in Canada than it would be to ship from China all the way to Canada if the market exists for it. Why would Canada care if they push out another car brand? Maple Audi, Maple Porsche, BMW, yeah. Mercedes. Yeah, there's so many car brands. None of them are Canadian. Not one of them. It's like he only wants cars from Western geopolitical area. Yeah, it's like that. Weird. I personally don't have a problem with getting access to the China EV market. They have a lot of interesting technology. I still think I think that if you're going to negotiate and work with China as a partner, you need to be careful and you need to think long term and you need to be aware of potential issues, but I don't think that means never do it and don't do it at all. They're going to build Chinese car factories in Canada? Oh yeah, they're definitely going to. They're going to have to. Like, there's no way it would be profitable to make that kind of a deal and then have to ship all the way from fucking... Yeah, Hyundai, Honda, Subaru. Like, you know what this sounds like? This sounds like a guy who doesn't know anything about the automotive industry. Oh my god. Oh my god. Trade deals should always be done carefully, even with close allies. Yes, absolutely, Orange Dot. You're 100% right. Yeah, shaking up the EV market is a good idea. I agree. No, I'm on board with that. Anyway.
No one needs an EV from one of the EV manufacturers in Canada because there's just so many cheap ones. And even if they're lower quality vehicles, well, if if they take a haircut in price and give it to you for like $10,000, of course you're going to buy it then over the $60,000.
So you don't like that the free market's gonna do the free market thing, and the thing that's cheaper, that is of good enough quality, is going to price out the more expensive thing? Yeah, what EV manufacturer is he talking about? Great question. Do we need the Tell Elmo? Is it time for Tell Elmo?
Tell Elmo!
Bro, Tell Elmo. Canadian EV manufacturer. If any country would have good Canada-proof cars, it would be China. You think so?
Dollar car, if it's somewhat comparable, even if it's much lower quality, well, it's only $10,000, and it's going to be starting to shred the profit margins of our own manufacturers. This is not.
So what? Is Canadian Tire an EV manufacturer? I don't think so. We build and manufacture EVs in the country, but they're not Canadian-owned brands. There are Canadian companies that build automotive parts for other brands that are not Canadian brands. Yeah, he wants more expensive products in lieu of cheaper products. Then the market needs to adjust itself. This man actually thinks that that Beijing is going to be able to ship a bunch of all these extra cars that they have to Canada basically for no cost. No competition, no lower prices, no. You mean like when Hyundai started? Do you mean like no, this guy doesn't know fucking anything else. Have I eaten something? Yeah, I ate some nachos earlier. I had some loaded nachos. They were pretty fucking good. Why does this guy look like he's 12? I don't know. How old is this guy? I don't know anything about
Not
him.
a free market thing. This is almost like a situation where...
Never mind, it's not a free market thing. He said it wasn't a free market thing, guys. It's not a free market thing. He's... Oh! Okay.
Charities destroy an African economy.
Yeah, we talked about the defund CBC in the back, so I went and got this. He doesn't know anything about cars. He doesn't know anything about cars.
Because of all the free food and free clothing and charities manufacturers.
What?
This is not a free market thing. This is almost like a situation where charities destroy an African economy because of all the free food and free clothing and other goods that they just send in, which means that there's no point in buying.
Oh no. Oh no. What? What? Surely he has an example on hand.
Buying a t-shirt locally. There's no point in buying food that a farmer produced in your local area because there's going to be a big bag of rice dropped off from one of the do-gooder charities who doesn't understand what they're actually doing to the
What a first world thing to say. Hey, dude, do you want to get that capitalist cock out of your mouth? Holy shit. I'm not against capitalism, but Jesus Christ. Holy moly. Oh my god.
To the economy there. And I don't like Doug Ford. The man is a subsidy hound. The guy loves building an economy through government spending. I think that's terrible.
Doug Ford likes building an economy through government spending? The dude's a Tory. What are you talking about?
We should have deregulation, lower taxes.
Which African economy? Africa is a continent. I'm not drunk enough for this. No. but Carney's government spending is wrong. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But when Ford does it, it's good. I don't know. Or it's not bad enough when Ford does it, I guess.
Every province in Canada as well as federally. And this would also be less of a threat to us, what China's doing, if we did that. But still, I actually do support tariffing certain countries, which are effectively taking a haircut on their own ability to actually make profit on a specific good just to damage your own economy by dumping it
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
into it. It's like if Canada wanted to undermine the economy of Washington state in the lumber industry, and so we just started clear cutting tons of our own trees and then just sending them down to the United States for half the price, and every single one of their forest their forest sector just goes completely kaput, and then we raise our prices after they all go bankrupt. But anyway.
Oh, he it's not a tariff. That's not a tariff, my guy. What you described is not a tariff. Oh my god, he has less economic grasp of economics than I do.
Anyways, now we need to move on to another clip. All of this is basically universally embarrassing. Here's one of the videos that Carney's people uploaded.
You're gonna take that clip out of context? Can we get that clip? Can I have that as a fucking... This is universally embarrassing. That is what the US is accusing Canada of doing, like shipping free, like cheap lumber. That's why there's huge tariffs on Canadian lumber. Yeah, well, you know.
Uploaded themselves because apparently they thought he looked really good here. Carney trying to, sell this.
So he just said that somebody who is a Carney person uploaded it, but he didn't say it. He's not showing who actually uploaded the video.
Deal that he's made as a great thing for Canada, and it's going to protect our workers somehow or whatever.
$20 billion in wages are earned each year by Canadians because of our existing trade relationship.
Uh-huh.
And this is a relationship
The existing trade relationship that you said doesn't exist?
that has been distant and uncertain for nearly a decade.
Presumably
I
he's talking
wonder
about
why,
China.
Carney. Could it be perhaps, maybe, because of the security threat that you mentioned that they posed to Canada less than a year ago? Could it be that? Who knows? It's a mystery.
He means China. There's lots of reasons why. Security is one of them. The other is because of our close tie to the United States.
That has held back investment, it's stalled business growth, and cost Canadian workers good opportunities.
Oh my goodness, that's so terrible. That's so terrible that we let a little thing like imprisoning our people, like stealing our intellectual property, like setting up CCP police stations on our soil.
I'm really not gonna lie, I really could care less if China has a knockoff copy of Sonic in a superhero costume that says Spider-Man on it. Like, I really don't care. As an artist.
And interfering in our election. How could we let those minor little things interfere with a little bit of economic growth? Who could say why we would let that happen? That's disgusting of us. I think that we, in fact, should just give Yukon to China as penance for having taken issue with those little minor issues that we had. Oh my.
Conservatives really suck at executing sarcasm, which isn't surprising as it is often said that talent for sarcasm is an indication of intelligence level. Yeah, it took me a hot second to realize he was being sarcastic because I was trying to figure out what the fuck he was trying to say. Yes, we've been on bad terms with China before. Does that mean we should always fucking be on bad terms with China? Question mark. Wait, so he is in favor of what we did in India, right? When we called them out, he is very concerned with security. What are his views on how Trudeau handled India? Yeah, good question. Great question. Next question. Who raised this person? Good question. The US relationship with China improved significantly under Obama. Yeah, and we were able to take advantage of that.
Oh my goodness, this is just embarrassing.
And it has had the
Uh-huh.
consequence of leaving us even more dependent on our largest trading partner.
Oh, boo. Boo, more reliance on the US. Boo. We can't do that. That's terrible. Boo.
Yeah, that would be. If we're already relying on 78% of our export going to the United States, more would be pretty fucking bad.
Boo. Down with the US. We should go trade with China now because we trade too much with the US and that's apparently a bad thing. It's almost like we have
Yeah, it is. You just talked about that tariffs are a bad thing. What do you mean? Oh, thanks for the context.
the world's longest undefended border with the United States. It's almost like that might mean that there's a good reason for us to trade with them.
And that
Nobody is saying not trade with the United States. Diversification doesn't mean no more America land, my guy.
That's why immediately after the election, Canada's new government began to recalibrate our relationship with China. Strategically, pragmatically, and decisively.
Oh, well, guys, at least he's doing it strategically, pragmatically, and decisively.
As opposed to what, haphazardly and random? Would you prefer that instead? The border? Yeah, the border has, yeah, it's a non sequitur, you're right.
It's all good now, guys. He did it strategically. He's only screwing over our countries.
How is he screwing our countries? Dude, my guy, what, in what world is Canada responsible for the United States? It's not. Canada is not responsible for the United States. My guy, trading with China does not undermine the United States in the context that you're describing it. The one question I said I needed to ask, is Canada responsible for fucking carrying the United States on our backs as they're screaming and punching us in the back of the head? You two should do a stream together? What, me and this guy? You think he would? Do you think he would come on and talk with me? I host a debate channel. He could come on my debate channel if he wants. I'd totally be down. Send him over.
Economy and our security strategically. Doing it for pragmatic reasons. Only doing it pragmatic.
How? Just stating that that's happening is not an argument. That's just you making that claim. How is he doing that? Tell Elmo.
Pragmatically, guys. He's only being a complete hypocrite for pragmatic reasons here. Let's move on to this. Actually, I want to go to
what hypocrisy? Where's the hypocrisy?
The video that it sort of shows the type of person that Carney's actually winning with what he's doing here. And when I say who he's winning, I mean who he's already won. Because Carney is not winning anyone who he actually needs with these moves towards China and Qatar. We'll talk a little bit about Qatar at the end. Qatar, I know America has military bases in Qatar.
Where doesn't America have military bases? Oh, Canada. Canada is currently one of the most respected countries in the world, specifically because they are leading the charge on becoming USA independent, meaning looking at diversification of trade relations. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They are still a hostile foreign power that the United States has to be very wary with dealing with. It's actually...
It's not. If somebody is fucking engaging in hostile situation with the United States, does not mean they are inherently a hostile country to Canada. We are different fucking countries. Canada is not a part of the United States. Canada is not the United States. We are not an arm, a hand, or a ligament of the United States. We are our own fucking country. It's weird to me that this guy keeps talking about Canada as if we are like some kind of extension of the United States. We are not. We are our own country. Just because somebody's fighting with the United States does not mean we have to be fighting with them.
actually where...
Why should I, as a Canadian, care if the United States gets screwed over in some capacity in let's say it's a trade deal with us? Why do I give a shit if the American dairy farmers get fucked by their own government when they decided to make a trade deal with us? Why should I, as a Canadian, care? Hostile to the U.S. after giving POTUS a $450 million jet? Yeah. Yeah, USA centralism. Yep.
A lot of the terrorism dollars around the world originates from. It's where Hamas currently has all of their headquarters stationed, because no one in Hamas...
Is that true? Well, it says that that their official headquarters is in Gaza. I'm seeing a few different places, Jerusalem being one of them. According to the DNI government. DNI.gov. Hamas movement was founded by Palestinian Islamic scholar, blah, 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 promoted Palestine nationalism, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if Qatar is even... Headquarters, Gaza City. In terms of foreign policy, Hamas has historically sought out relations with Egypt, Iran, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Turkey. Some of the relations have been impacted by the Arab Springs. Hamas and Israel have engaged in the protracted Gaza-Israeli conflict as part of the border. Okay. The political bureau was based in Damascus until January of 2012, where Hamas's support for the Syrian opposition to Bashar al-Assad during the Syrian civil war led to the office's relocation to Qatar. But that is the Council and Political Bureau. that's the political bureau. not the... Okay. Alright. Okay. You know what? Fucking close enough. Close enough. I'll give him that one.
Hamas actually wants to live in the Gaza Strip. You know, they've turned it into a hellhole by stealing all the resources and money and using it for rockets and...
Hamas is responsible for turning the Gaza Strip into a hellhole? Really? That's a take.
AK-47s. So, but, you know, we need, for some reason, to pair up with those guys because something America bad. But
what?
Here is the key demographic that Carney is trying to double down on by doing these things.
I don't know where he's getting any of this, to be honest.
Or Babcock.
He gets half of a point. Watt gets half of a point for some of the power of Hamas being in Qatar. But he gets he only gets half of a point though and doesn't get a full point because it's not exactly very accurate.
Who, ignoring Carney's hypocrisy on this issue around his previous statements about China being a security threat, she is now going to attack the conservatives.
This is a different issue. Didn't you just bring... Oh, no. See, he's back to... Sorry, he jumped to Qatar, and then now he's jumping back to China. Okay, got it.
For not going along with this.
That though if Polyev were prime minister and went and opened up trade with China, they'd be like, yeah, Polyev, Trudeau was an idiot, let's go. Because it's carny, they're like, communism, right? What I freaking love about this is the...
Oh my goodness, guys, she freaking loves it. What? Who? Again, they would have been cheering if Polyev was doing this. No, we would not be. I can guarantee you, I would be making videos saying that Polyev is screwing up big time if he just started, no questions asked, opening up trade with China. Just
What do you mean, no questions asked? We didn't just open up trade with China. The fact that it is opening up the EV market, canola oil, and some travel means that it is limited to those things, which means is it just hasn't opened up trade to everything. If you're gonna lie to people, could you lie better? The Conservatives all cheered when Stephen Harper did it. Why wouldn't they if Pierre Poilievre does it? Great question, PNC. Great question.
Just kind of like growing closer to China, despite all of their bad actions, despite their actions in the Philippine Sea, despite their actions against Taiwan, despite their actions against a weak...
Hey, our presence in protecting Taiwan haven't fucking changed. Our position between China and Taiwan hasn't fucking changed. Actually, not too long ago, one of the things that happened was, oh my god, a boat went through that wasn't supposed to go through. And they were like, China was like, oh my god, a boat. And the United States was, oh my god, a boat. They're not supposed to travel through this area. This is all restricted. You want whose boat it was? It was Canada. He's too young to remember, Harper. He could do some research, couldn't he? No?
Uyghur Muslims and the Tibetans and all those other people, Christians in China. Yeah, no, I would be mad at him.
What?
But the thing is that she is...
What? What? Huh? People's religious affiliations? I'm sorry, I want that list again.
Actions, despite their actions in the Philippine Sea, despite their actions against Taiwan, despite their actions against the Uyghur Muslims and the Tibetans and all those other people, Christians in China. Yeah, no, I would be mad at him. But the thing is that she is projecting hard. Like Laura Babcock, other than taking her lithium, she should open up a theater because she is projecting. No conservative would just be pumping their fist because Polyev did something. She does that. She is ignoring the hypocrisy of Carney in order...
There is no hypocrisy. He's just assuming hypocrisy. He hasn't actually demonstrated it. He clip farmed 2 parts of Carney, pulled them out of context, and then presented them as if they were diametrically opposed positions when they're not. Rez in the chat said, this dude wants to go blow for blow of all the bad shit China has done recently as a reason why no one should trade with them. Okay, let's do that for the United States then. I bet I know who wins that one. Yeah, it's a good point. If he wants to stand on some kind of moral high ground, as if moral high grounds are the way to do economic global trade. Like, not everybody agrees on morals, right? Not every country follows the same laws. In fact, each country generally has its own laws by which it abides. If you want to trade with anyone, you're not going to be having conversations about the morality of a country, because countries do not have morals. People have morals. Countries do not. Countries are not people. They're made up of people. There are people who live in countries, but a country cannot and is not a moral or immoral being. You need to separate those things out. Yes, he did open trade. My guy, I'll explain this one more time for you. Opening trade and opening free all of the trade are 2 different things.
order to spite the conservatives.
Announcement about not just the trade, but the way the
Wait,
world
now Carney is doing trade with China to spite the conservatives? I thought it was to spite the Americans. He also allowed thousands of it into Canada, which will damage Canadian jobs and Canadian manufacturing. What it? What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to be scared with making a deal with China.
Conservatives.
announcement about not just the trade, but the way the world is describing this. So we heard Mark Carney say this is a new world order of multilateralism, right? He said the U.S. ruptured the relationship with Canada. He said it out
I
loud.
am really distracted by how much she is blinking. Holy shit. Rez says, also, trade is not a zero-sum game. Trade is one of the ways you can exert pressure on other countries to do less things we don't like China with Taiwan, and do more things we do like. Yes, we talked about that earlier. If you want to influence a country, or you want to influence a government system that is in a country, then you need to work with them and deal with them as people, because what decides what country's government is in place? It's people. The people decide that. Right? Thing is, CPC, which is the Canadian Conservative Party of Canada, CPC, shills like Watt should be happy with Carney. Carney is, whoop, I lost your comment. Carney is very conservative. He's building pipelines and going to ship more oil because Carney is in the pocket of Koch. I don't know about that. I'm not sure about the pipeline. I'm not totally against a pipeline. I just think it needs to be done right, and it needs to be done carefully. The Liberals also did a pipeline under Trudeau, which, again, I wasn't happy about, but, like, it's not a make or break for me personally, because, like, you can't chop down your apple tree before your new tree grows. You know what I mean? Carney is definitely a capitalist, for sure, yeah. Whether or not Carney is conservative, I'm not 100% sure on. I think he's very good at delivering his message in a way that conservatives will agree with or buy into. I personally believe, now I could be totally wrong about this is just my take, so if you disagree with me, totally valid. I think that Carney is personally more liberal than he's presenting himself as the prime minister. I would also probably go out on a limb and say something along the lines of, there are a lot of conservatives that, there's a lot that liberals and conservatives agree with right now. If you ask and poll conservatives without telling them what party, and you ask them about healthcare, or you ask them about minimum wage, or you ask them about buying houses, liberals and conservatives will agree that things need to be done, or things need to go up, or things need to change here or there, or whatever. They'll agree. So there's a lot of things that we all agree on right now. There's just a lot of divisive politics that have been influenced by outside forces, India, Russia, China, to help destabilize things, right? I'm not going to pretend that China hasn't done problematic shit in our direction. Just like we've done problematic shit in their direction. Do you want that problematic shit to stop happening? Well, you can get to the table and have a conversation, right? Yeah, Carney is a liberal in some ways and conservative in others. He's a human being. We have nuance. Yeah. I just think that there's a difference between people's personal politics and then what they're doing in their political position, right?
The New World Order, establishing Carney once and for all as the leader of the free world.
Oh yeah, once and for all, guys. Apparently it was in question before. You might be thinking right now, was Carney ever in contention for the leader of the free world? Yes, he was. We all know it. We all knew he was the free world, the leader of the free world, and him basically bending
this guy freaking out over a little bit of hyperbolic talk is kind of funny.
Anita Xi Jinping has now cemented his status as leader of the free world.
And he's being characterized as such by Americans, right? But also...
Yeah, these two crusty men that she does her show with have said it, so it must be true.
My guy, you don't want to start that conversation, I promise you.
the acknowledgement by analysts that Canada is now an agricultural superpower.
Okay, sure, Laura.
Is that a bad thing? Do you not want that? You don't want Canada to be in a position of power in agriculture? Why not? What part of this do you disagree about? You just don't like who's the one doing it? What did Xi Jinping have to do with that? I don't fucking know.
I'm tired. I'm tired, Laura. You did this to me. She literally is celebrating the idea of like, oh, well, it's great that China's leading the New World Order, and it's good that
That is not what she said at all!
He said that. You know, who cares about all the people that China disappears in the security state and the people it kidnaps through its police stations in Canada and interfering in our elections? Noise. No, guys, stop jarring my...
Yeah, I think his sexism is showing, yeah. We are not an agricultural superpower. I didn't say we were. Did you hear me say we were? That what you heard? She said we were an agriculture superpower, and he said that was a problem. I want to know why that would be a problem. China is kidnapping people in Canada? What? I don't know exactly which thing he is referring to. There's been Canadians who have been arrested in China. All right, put the clip up then, Paul. Go ahead. Get the timestamp.
My ears was all your noise. I don't want to hear that there's problems and issues that we need to take seriously. No adult problems, guys. I want to feel happy that Carney's doing this. You would be happy if Polyev was doing this. Let me be.
The lady he was watching said that Canada has now been described by analysts as an agricultural superpower. There have been Canadians kidnapped in the United States. Yep.
Happy that Carney is doing this. You guys would love it if Polyev just became a communist overnight. Like, oh my god.
How is doing capitalism equal communism? How is it every time Carney does capitalism, people turn around and say it's communism? I'm so embarrassed for this guy. He's such a shill. Looks like he's 80. He's an 80-year-old grandmother. Aw, that's so mean. How could you say that thing about him? You can't just roast somebody like that after he called some other people crusty. So rude.
Goodness, these people are allowed to vote. You know.
Oh yeah, that's a good take. Oh man, this woman is allowed to vote. That's that's a fucking Yahoo!
Help us. Like, somebody out there. God help us. I need to move on to another part of all this. Here is a great clip of Carney claiming that this is going to do good things for Canada's security. Don't you know, boy howdy.
You mean making friends with people that were enemies before, who were a threat to our security, will mean that they're not necessarily a threat to our security anymore, therefore would make us fucking more secure by fiat?
The fourth pillar of our new strategic partnership.
Should we ask Paul the questions? Guys, Paul's here now. Paul, do you want to do my survey? You want to do my conservative survey? It's only 4 questions. We've been considering expanding it. I don't have my book with me right now, but the first question is, give you the questions? Yeah. Okay. We'll do the survey questions. First off, how did you find the stream? How did you get here? What? How did you come across this wonderful place? Maybe highlight how the EU started, France and Germany coming together and regulating steel and coal, among others. No, that's too much history. Through the political tags. Ah, interesting. Very cool. Second question. Second question is, can you tell me what 5% of 20% is? You can use 100 as the base. 5% of 20%. Using 100 as the base. While you answer, I'll go get my book. My book has all the other questions in it. I got it. 5% of 20%. We were going to add another question, so I'll write that down too with my little troll doll. 5. 5% of 20% on 100. Do I need to pull up the timer? We haven't gotten one of the answer from Paul yet. Paul, come back! All I asked is how you got here. Depends on what you mean. You can either say it's 25% because 5 out of 20 is 25, or 0.25%. I mean, what is 5% of 20? Out of 100. Yeah, that's incorrect. Yeah, 5% of 20. If you have 20% of something, what is, if the whole is 100, and you have 20% of that 100, what is 5% of that 20%? Take your time. Take your time. While you take your time to do that, I'm gonna go pee. Okay, I'm back. Okay, yeah, you got to 1. The answer is 1. But yeah, thank you, Feline, for explaining the math. No answer from Paul? I didn't see an answer from Paul. Did Paul give up? Did Paul give up and run away? After calling everyone else dumb? Oh, what a shame. The surprise of nobody. Alright, next question. Can you name one policy that Pierre Poilievre has penned and put through during his time in government? You can just say no if you don't. If yes, which one? If yes, which policy? Can you name it? I don't like any form of polarizing politics, whether it be from the left or the right. We all want to live and let live and have some work. Yeah, no. I get you. I'm not even a Canadian. I don't know who that even is. Pierre Poilievre is the guy that he's been praising the whole time. Pierre Poilievre is the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada. Okay. And you don't know, so you can't answer number 4. So I'm just going to skip number 4 and say the newest question that we're adding, the newest question needs a little bit of tweaking. And the question is, should Canada be responsible for the United States economy? Yes, no, and why or why not? No. Yeah, I think no also. But yeah, that's my conservative, I feel like I should add the question, are you a Canadian? Because I feel like there's a lot of conservatives that come here to tell me about Canadian politics without actually being Canadians. So I think that's like a little bit of a valid question to add in. Are you Canadian? I think half the time people are just trolling though. America is a geopolitical destabilizer, and not carrying them is not a punishment. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you're right about that. Does Canada have a responsibility to pander to the I feel like that is that question. I feel like I just reworded that question. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you for participating in my survey. I appreciate that.
Public safety and security. And this is an area where pragmatic and constructive engagement with China is crucial. Through this pillar, our law enforcement agencies will increase cooperation to better combat narcotics trafficking, transnational crime, cybercrime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, China's going to help us with that. It's only that a bunch of their...
It's not that China is going to help us with that, my guy. Did you not listen? It's about cooperation. We're going to cooperate with China. We're going to help each other. We're going to work together to get a better overall result for both countries when it comes to drugs and human trafficking. Are you pro human trafficking? Do the conservatives suddenly don't want to be tough on drugs now?
Economy is invested into sending us fentanyl precursors. Yeah, they're going to help crack down on all the narcotics. They're going to tell the Chinese triad gangs in the Vancouver area in our ports to stop selling drugs and to stop sending around fentanyl precursors to super labs. Xi Jinping's going to get on the horn with them and tell them. Like, am I taking...
Oh, boy. Well, that's a lot to unpack. Is that so much? Is there so much to unpack in what he just said that we should just throw out the whole suitcase? I feel like we should maybe just throw out that entire suitcase. That's like saying we're gonna work with the United States to clamp down on illegal drug and gun sales, and then having some idiot respond with, "Oh yeah, Donald Trump is just gonna call up the Crips and the Bloods, and that's gonna stop that." That's what he just said. That is the equivalent. Yeah, I feel like racism. I feel like what he just did was racist. Implying that everybody in China is just part of the triad and just part of the Yakuza. The Yakuza's Japan. No, yeah, that was just racist. Conservative bingo, my friends.
crazy pills right now. Carney is the guy who labeled China as our biggest national security threat. And it's like
again, both of those things can be true. Working towards a solution means that you do things and you compromise and you talk like adults and work together to solve problems. Do you want China to be less of a security threat? Maybe you should work with China to make China less of a security threat. Actually, yeah, let's make a poll. I'm gonna make a poll on YouTube. I'm gonna make a poll. Do you think this guy, do you think he believes this? Do you think Watt believes what he's saying? Do you think he believes what he's, do you think he believes this shit? I don't know. I wanna know what you guys think. If you're on Twitch and not on YouTube, 1 in the chat for yes, 2 in the chat for no. Yeah, when you work together on security and cybercrime, you mitigate the threat. Correct.
Homeowner saying, my goodness, this guy keeps trying to break into our house like every other day. You know what? We should invite him over for tea and cookies, and he's going to explain how to make our house safer. He'll show us.
That's actually legit. This is like telling me, oh, so for cybersecurity, we hired hackers to find us the fucking holes in our, and find the security holes in our fucking program. My guy. That's a real thing. If you want to build a fucking house that is really secure, and somebody's breaking into your house, inviting them over to be like, how do you keep breaking into my house, might actually be a valid solution. These are literally, yes! No!
Which windows that we should be securing and which ones we should just leave open. He'll know because he's tried to break into here a lot of times. You know, it takes one to know one. So let's have this thief like help make our make our home more secure. Here's the most dystopian.
Yes! Oh. Yeah, no, sorry, PNC. Yes, I was saying that about cybersecurity because that is what happens. Yeah, no, a company will absolutely hire. They're called white hat. We're called white hat hackers. Somebody who is a white hat is somebody who goes around trying to purposefully break security on websites or on programs, and half the time they are hired by the company to then give the company that information so the company can make their shit more secure. That's a real thing. Yes. Asking China how China keeps breaking into her shit is a valid question. Now, admittedly, you do have to be careful because you have to, you know, understand that they're not necessarily your ally and they might not necessarily tell you anything, but that doesn't mean not fucking
dystopian video you're going to see today. And then I want to move on to the Qatar one where he went to Doha.
Oh, sorry. You were asking about why I was the percent question. The percent question is based on Pierre Poilievre's policy for the housing crisis. His policy was he wanted to give people a 5% tax cut so they could afford housing. But the 5% wasn't a 5% total tax cut. It was 5% of the 20% of your... He said you're going to get a 5% cut on your taxes, not a 5% tax cut. So it's actually from 20% to 19%. So how much money is that 20% and how much money is that 1%, and how many of those 1% are you going to need to help to buy a house? The answer is not a lot. The answer is that's not going to help you.
But this one is nuts. This is just fully dystopian, this video. And this is meant to win voters. It's meant to make Carney look like a formidable, cool leader and seem like a serious guy. And it just fails on every count. He looks weak. The Canadian officials in these...
Stop fucking poisoning the well. If the video shows what you're saying it's showing, just play the video and then comment on it. Don't tell me what it is and preamble it to set the expectation of what I'm supposed to be looking at. It makes you look dishonest. Even if that's not what you're doing, and even if you're not lying to me, it comes across that way. Play the video first. Do you think Pierre Poilievre did that on purpose to deceive people? Yes. I do.
Videos look naive, and it literally ends with a shot of Tiananmen Square and Mao Zedong.
It's been 8 years since a Canadian Prime Minister visited China.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
And this is a relationship that has been distant and uncertain for nearly a decade. That has held back investment, it's stalled business growth, and cost Canadian workers good opportunities. And that's why Canada's new government began to recalibrate our relationship with China. Through periods of global tension and...
Look at all these idiots here. That's all I can describe them as. Look at these idiots just signing deals simply for the sake of basically spiting Donald Trump.
disruption.
What does dealing with China have to do with Donald Trump? Can you please draw the through line?
Created more opportunities for our workers, businesses, and investors by working together. That's the opportunity.
Guys, working together to make more investment and more jobs and more businesses and more fucking... more money in Canada is dystopian. Yeah, US defaultism. Yeah, he's just defaulting to the United States. Again, we're back to, why do we give a shit? Why should we care? Why should Canadians care about the United States? I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm asking you to tell me why. Why should we?
Opportunity before us now. More stability, more certainty, and prosperity on both sides.
We have literally ended this.
How dystopian?
Both.
We have literally ended this video looking through a small sliver of window from a vehicle, like one of those photos that someone sneaks out of like some high security concentration camp or prison. And we
What?
are looking at an image of the Canadian flag and Chinese flag flying in Tiananmen Square with the photo of Mao Zedong in the middle and all the other Chinese leaders on the left and right flanking it. Great look here. Like, what? We put this in a video?
Sides of the Pacific.
And it's like, I love this logic at the start here.
It's been 8 years since a Canadian Prime Minister visited China.
By the way, a Canadian Prime Minister hasn't visited North Korea yet. We also haven't visited Turkmenistan. We haven't visited Tajikistan or Equatorial Guinea yet. We haven't gone to any of those African dictatorships and hung out with, Theodore Obiang Nguema Umbasogo or whatever his name is. We haven't because he's a murderer and we don't need him part of our team.
Excuse me while we non sequitur whataboutism our way into oblivion. Yeah, what the fuck is your point? Yes, and? As if Americans are not murderers. I know, right? As if the United States doesn't have ICE going on right now, right? Like, what are you talking about? That is not that is literally not the fucking deciding line about whether or not a country decides to work with another country. Yeah, they're not, no, yeah, this is comparing apples and oranges. He's just trying to do, like, sensationalism.
Like, again, I'm repeating the Crazy Bills comment. I'm not saying it again, but you heard me say it, and just imagine me saying that over and over again, because this is what this is making me feel. At least the memes are good. At least we have that tender mercy right there.
Oh, this is a good meme? This is your opinion of a good meme? Oh no. Oh no. We're back to the right can't meme. Why? Why do you guys suck at this so bad?
This post from the Canada Roast kind of describes the thought pattern of people like Laura Babcock here. And it shows the liberals coming in to replace the chip in Laura Babcock's brain that says China bad to China good. And now she's cool with it and in fact believes
That is literally not what anybody said.
Conservatives would totally be on board with Polyev doing the same thing because she has no brain. She's just a hyper partisan. I like this one from the National Roast, showing the swap happening as well with Carney dressed up as Indiana Jones replacing.
Wait, sorry, who posted this? Oh, okay.
Showing the swap happening as well with Carney dressed up as Indiana Jones.
A country is not good or bad. That is not how you analyze a country. That is especially not how you analyze a country for trade purposes. Jesus Christ. Are you gonna send China to jail? Are you, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna pick up China and move it? Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna take China to court? Did Germany go to court? No. The individuals who ran Germany went to court. The trials were about the individuals that were running the fucking country. You can't, that's not how this fucking works. That's not how any of this works. That's also not what anybody said. Did anybody deny that China did problematic shit? No. Yeah, that's actually a valid question. Like, what do you think the biggest threat to Canada right now even is? I would probably say the United States. Good God.
Jones replacing China bad with China good on the pedestal. But like that scene in that movie, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think that the majority of Canada's population is going to go along with this. You're going to have, by the way, you're also going to have the NDP.
They're already going along with it and have been going along with it. In fact, it was encouraged. Check memes. Oh, if I must. Fucking course. Fucking playing tic-tac-toe on his head. Oh, fucking
sucking up voters who think that Carney is still not being anti-Trump enough. But all of the more pragmatic liberals, the business liberals, those who are from minority groups who don't like the Muslim Brotherhood that runs Qatar, who don't like the Chinese Communist Party, they're going to be moving over and voting conservative. Mark my words. You can tell the conservatives
I have a question. Do you think not liking a foreign government is a valid reason to shoot yourself in the foot? Anybody? Chat. 1 in the chat if yes, 2 in the chat if no. 1 in the chat if you think it is a valid reason to shoot yourself in the foot if you don't like a foreign government that you can't control. 2 in the chat if you think if it's not a valid reason. Because you can't control a foreign government. I just noticed that the memes are doubled up. Or that the emotes are doubled up. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Not valid? It's not valid? Twos, 2. You don't think it's valid to shoot yourself in the foot because you don't like a... What about shooting someone else in the foot? What if it's somebody else? Yes, the minority groups in Canada, like the Muslim and the Chinese. Yeah, we already looked at the population chart. Do I need to pull up the population chart again? Where is that? Where did that go? Where's my population chart? Here it is. Stop being so fucking racist!
Know that this is going to happen because they are hammering on this really, really hard because the liberals have nothing. What are the liberals going to claim here? Like, how are they going to market this to the public? Oh, well, we need to find other trade.
We literally saw how he's going to market to the public. More stability, more businesses, more trade, more cultural exchange. People like that shit. You might not like that shit because you're racist, but other people aren't racist and think that shit is great.
partners other than the United States, so we're partnering with communist China. It's like, okay, well, thanks for naming the one place that Canadians are actually very likely, even if they're pretty anti-American, to say that, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be more reliant on them, though. But
as if it's just China, and not China and Indonesia and India and France, and like, clearly this dude does not understand the fucking... Like, this guy does not understand that this is a multifaceted, multi-prong approach, and it is not a one-stop shop fixes all. So I'm guessing that's what he was saying, was that 4.3 at the beginning. The 4.3 is China. And if we're going to increase our trade by 4.3, right? As if that's going to offset the 75. It's not. It's not, of course, on its own, it's not going to be. And it's also not the full Chinese market. It's only a handful of things. So, will that increase over time? Probably. Should it increase? Was it 4.9? Okay, 4.9. You're probably right. It's probably 4.9. But he's just a stupid grifter. He does seem like just a stupid grifter.
But now here is the video from Doha, from Mark Carney's trip. It reminds me again of the video from China. It's dystopian. It shows all these soldiers. It shows them like pulling up to different locations through the narrow view of a car window.
You know, when politicians travel places, there's generally like military and special forces personnel in the area to keep the area safe. Like, do you...
It's terrible propaganda. Like, again, these are not achieving the goals that they think it is. It's not making Carney look cool. It's making him look naive. And the view from the windows of these things and the way that they cut it makes it look like we're almost being taken in. We're almost being captured by these countries rather than...
Bro, play the video and then talk about it. Stop doing this thing where you have to preamble it all with all this bullshit.
Mark Carney and Canada are in charge in these negotiations. We look very much not in charge in any of these videos.
Well, you know, at least our guy can go up and down the stairs without having toilet paper stuck to his shoe. There's no audio. Oh, look at him walking in and shaking hands.
Again, another video where, like, I don't, like, I guess the Canadian flag went by at Mach 10, and then we just see the Qatari flag, and you see this...
The fucking car's going at Mach 10, guys. He's bitching about the picture of the Canadian flag not being right.
Convoy, and then you see again through, like, a very narrow frame, the Canadian flag being...
What about this is narrow? The whole video is shot in vertical. What are you talking about? How desperate do you have to be? Unbelievable.
Flanked by Qatari flags. Like, again, if you do...
No, he assured us at the beginning of the stream that he's not conspiracy-brained about it.
It's like propaganda 101. Have there be more Canadian flags in any shot than the foreign country's flag. Have there be big vista...
But that wasn't what we saw in the video. There was the Qatar flag in a couple of spots, and there was a Canadian flag.
Shots. Make it look open. Make Carney look in charge with a firm handshake photo. Like, no, he looks kind of dumb walking down the stairs and grabbing the crown prince's hand. A guy who's cool with...
What else is he supposed to do?
Hamas being in the exact same country. Like, what? Okay. But now we got to move on to this post. I really like the response that Chevrolet...
This is the most pathetic criticism I think he's fucking got. Yeah, Canada, the Canadian flag is the foreign flag in Qatar, correct.
Jumdar had here. I know he always has his name listed as Shuv everywhere. I just know that his full first name is Chevrolet. And man, if my first name was Chevrolet, I would also be always saying the full version of it. I'll get this up on screen properly. But Shuv, in response to this video from Carney, says, think he'll get Doha to stop backing Hamas and the clerical regime in Tehran massacring their people? Probably not. He didn't do much for Jimmy Lai in Hong Kong. the Uyghur genocide, the mass displacement of Chinese people internally, the Tibetans, the Falun Dafa, the everyday mainlander suffocating under the CCP, Chinese Canadians worried about intimidation. But this is his new world order.
There's a word for this. There's a word for this. I'm waiting. I'm seeing a lot of waits in the chat. I'll wait. Go on, I'll let you guys discuss for a minute. I think you all know what my take is on this. Yes. Rez has got it. Do these people expect Carney to be solely responsible for all these things? You think that Carney in Canada is in a position of power to influence those things? If so, why? And if so, why weren't we doing it already? It's almost like Canada isn't in the position and doesn't have that kind of power. And if Canada wants to be in a position to have that kind of power, we need to do these negotiations first. Yeah, Templar, he didn't fix all the evils in the world immediately that he has no control over. Right? If Canada wants to be in a position to do the things that they're demanding Mark Carney do yesterday, then we need to take the steps to be in the position to do so. And the first thing to do to be in that kind of position is to be on decent enough terms with these fucking people in the first place. It is. You've got it. It's the Nirvana fallacy. If it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. Are these... this is also anti-Palestine propaganda, by the way, slipped in here, if you didn't notice.
And I think that this is absolutely the rhetorical line the conservatives should keep doing. Keep just basically mocking Carney into submission here, because he does not look good in front of it.
Is that what you think is happening? Is that how you interpret this? Carney's being mocked into submission? Is that... Okay.
Any Canadian with a conscience who doesn't in fact want us to be like the partner, to be the bagman for dictatorship.
Good point. Also, you would complain about Canada using its position of power to try and affect change, like, say, retaliate against the United States. Again, this guy is complaining that Carney isn't going around dictating to other countries how those countries need to behave, but then turns around and says that we need to work with the United States, who's just as guilty of half of the shit they fucking described. They don't care. They don't. He doesn't care. This is trying to do. He's trying to morally kidnap Canada and morally kidnap Mark Carney as if it's valid, and it's not. These are trade negotiations. Morality doesn't come into it in that regard or in that way. You can still consider it to a degree, but it still has less of a priority in the pragmatism with the deal. Because it's not Canada's job, and Canada's not in a position to do so anyway, to dictate to the rest of the world how they should be behaving. I'm sorry, Canada does not have the power to force China to change its government. That's just not something Canada has. Do you want Canada to have that kind of power? Do other countries want Canada to have that kind of power? But that's what happens when you try and take anything these fucking stupid idiots say about anything and actually take it seriously.
Around the world for terrorists around the world. Here's one more thing I need to show you guys.
Terrorists like in the United States, like ICE? Terrorists in the United States like Donald Trump? Those kinds of terrorists?
Was just something I found very funny, and I could make an entire video on this, but it's just not needed for today.
Yeah, you don't want to play moral grandstanding, and you don't want to live on a moral high horse when you're doing trade negotiations. If you want the world to be a better place, you need to communicate with other people. It's that simple. You have to start from somewhere. Just doing the same thing is doing what we've been doing for the last 10 years stopped the CCP? No? Has doing what we were doing for the last decade stopped Israel from obliterating Palestine? No. Has doing what we've been doing as Canada stopped Russia? No. So maybe we should try something different. If you actually cared about those things.
So I've had my conflicts with this group in the past, but they really went mask off after Carney went to China and declared that, it's great that China is leading this new world order and Canada's on board. So Daniel Tyre right here, this is in response to the video of Carney saying the new world order line. And since then, he has clarified that he is in favor of what Carney is doing.
Bro, I would recommend adjusting the order in which you do this. You should have played this clip after you played the original clip. Like, you should have put those two things together.
Here. Daniel Tyre, if you don't know him, is one of the co-founders, along with the other mouth breather, Greg Wycliffe, of the Dominion Society of Canada. Now, it's an anti-immigration group, and by the way, I 100% oppose mass immigration. I think we need immigration severely reduced. We need to make sure we have net negative migration for several years, more people leaving the country than entering the TFW program.
What? How would our industry survive that? What? Oh boy. Okay.
It needs to be completely repealed and replaced with something far more limited. The amount of foreign students our universities rely on need to be cut down. All of this stuff. Criminals, people abusing the social service system, everyone, all those people in those categories need to leave the country.
That's Canadians. That's Canadians? That's Canadians. Canadians do crime. Yeah, raise the toot the racism horn. Toot 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 toot.
But the Dominion Society is a group that genuinely believes in ethno-nationalism, in terms of they basically, like, if you're brown, you should have to leave. Even if you're fully Canadian and you absolutely like...
I don't know if I believe this guy's take on the group, but I'm interested to look into the group and find out. I've never heard of them.
Canadian values, and you're Western, and you're maybe even like Christian or something like that. You're not part of the right ethno.
Jotter also makes a good point. Canada has been upping deportation, and he's been limiting the foreign student limits, and yeah, so he's reduced the amount of people coming into the country. So there's also that, but of course they're not happy enough with that, or they just ignore that when it's convenient.
Groups that you should leave. But
he's Carney has also upped the border security.
It's clearly like a leftist front group, because Daniel Tyre and
What?
Greg Wycliffe identify themselves as identitarians and collectivists, and they are literally supporting what Carney is doing. And when I called them on this, they started doubling down. So Daniel Tyre is on board with the CCP New World Order. A bunch of us were dunking on these guys, and he responded to me after I mocked him for this, and he actually defended himself by saying, some people are incapable of nuance. The power...
Correct. We demonstrated that earlier when you couldn't tell that there's a difference between them being a security thing or being a security threat and doing trade with them are two different things in different contexts where both could be true at the same time.
Dynamics of global politics are shifting. Recognizing that is very real. It's not
correct, though that is a true fact that power dynamics of global politics are shifting. Yes.
a matter of China versus USA. The world isn't black and white, Wyatt. We exist in shades of gray, which is a very...
I don't like that I'm agreeing with the guy they say is basically an ethno-state centrist. like, I don't think I like that I'm agreeing with this guy if what they said about this guy is true, but I do like the, oh my fucking god, he's claiming that the group that makes conservatives look bad is a false flag operation.
very funny thing to say as a man who is an open.
So which part is wrong? Tell me which part is wrong. Don't whataboutism his other takes. What about what he's saying in response to you is incorrect?
Despite Wyatt, we exist in shades of gray, which is a very funny thing to say as a man who is an open racist. Like, dude, there's shades of gray in this world.
As opposed to you, who's a closeted racist, or you're a racist who's open but you're pretending you're not?
But I'm like, well, you don't seem to be willing to let any of the shades of gray stay in the country. Now, I also don't want our country just flooded with people from all sorts of different countries that do not like.
Listen, I kind of agree with him, but I don't agree with him all the way.
Align with our values and traditions and whatnot. I think if you come to Canada, you should really want to be Canadian. Anyone can become Canadian, but you don't.
I don't think you should have to want to stay in Canada forever and become a Canadian if you want to come here for school. I don't think that's necessary. I would like to see him make an argument for why I should prefer America over China to begin with. I agree. I would love to see that argument. I would love to hear what this guy's argument is for that. But he doesn't have one.
The country with people with no interest in Canada as an entity outside of making money here and moving here to buy a house. I think you need a little bit more buy-in.
Why? What's wrong with that?
Than simply that. You know, certain countries you need to be way more skeptical of if someone can integrate properly than others, but anyone in theory can.
What does integrate properly mean to this guy? Because integrate properly sounds like a dog whistle to me.
Come here, but like, really, it was such a mask off moment that the Dominion Society guys, who are technically right wing, are happy with this, and this is why they are called. This is why we call people like this the woke right. They operate like the woke left. It's the same operating system. They still believe in collectivism. They still believe in all these left-wing things, but all they do is they add artificial right-wing flavors. So by being intensely anti-immigration in a way that's actually really distinct.
How about you just make a video on that, showing and explaining and making an argument about that instead of just stating it as if it's a fact?
To a certain extent. Like, again, I'm 100% against mass immigration. I just don't want their brand of weird ethno-nationalism along with opposing mass immigration, but that's the only thing that feels right-wing about them. Everything else is like opposing free markets, wanting Canada realigned against the United States.
You already opposed the free market. In this video, he was opposed to the free market when it comes to allowing China into trade. That's opposing the free market and saying that we shouldn't allow China into trade because it's going to push out other manufacturers. That's being against free trade. That's against free markets.
United States wanting
Canada has to realign with the United States because the United States is realigning itself.
Basically like redistributionist policy and like having no free trade and all this stuff. Goodness.
I don't see where anybody is saying not to have any free trade, especially Mark Carney. Mark Carney has been going around making trade deals all over the globe. What is it, like 51 countries Canada has free trade agreements with?
This is why I keep warning people about this group, because I know that they try and take in young men by seeming like the hardcore conservatives who are better than all those other milquetoast neocons and neoliberals.
I mean, you're pretty milquetoast, dude. Like you're pretty milquetoast. I don't know if that's actually, if there's a better term for what this guy is. Milquetoast is pretty that's pretty on point.
It's like, but they're not conservative. They just sound really culturally hard-nosed on immigration and everything else. They are soft leftists who may as well be from downtown Victoria.
This dude sounds like he's got fucking cotton in his cheeks. Yeah, apparently I should go and look up this other group. What did he say? Dominion Group of Canada or something? I'll have to take a look.
Anyways, so with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And in fact, This is my second time recording this video. I almost recorded the entire thing in one take previously. And at the 20...
I will remind you that this is a recorded video that he edited.
7-minute mark, my computer died. And I got to re-record it.
Oh,
so
damn.
I
guess the computer came back to life. What a shame.
Putting my suffering for revenue. If you want to join the membership and reward my perseverance, you can do that. It makes me less reliant on the algorithm, truly.
Don't. Give me the money instead. I'm funnier.
And YouTube's been doing some weird flip-flopping with revenues where a video that has like 40,000 views
That's true. YouTube has been being weird about that recently.
makes like $70 or something like that. And that's a video that like takes you the entire day to make and like map out and whatnot. So by joining the membership and even just
School shooter energy. That's it. We're done. See, we end on school shooter energy. Oh my god. Oh my lordy. Ain't nobody got no chill today. Holy shit. Alright, well that was his... I will remind you that that is the video that is on, like, that's the you're visiting my channel, this is what you should watch video. So that was our first take on this guy. I'm sure we'll go and watch, like, another at some point, but now that we have an idea of what to expect, yeah, this guy has a lot of nothing to say. Most of what he said was just either grossly incorrect, like misinterpretation or representation, or just nothing, like just accusations with no, there wasn't really anything of substance in the video, right? There was no statistics, there was no numbers, there was no argument, it's nothing. There was a lot of nothing. So, I don't know, maybe he's got, I'll take a look and we'll take a look another day. Yeah, it was mostly bloviating. It was mostly just, like, script points. You know what I mean? Like buzzwords and scripted points. Like, oh, immigrants bad, right? Yeah, no substance. There was no, the only substance that was in this video was Mark Carney talking, and even that wasn't very much substance because it was only random clips. But, I don't know. If this guy expects Carney to be perfect, like, yeah, there's plenty of things to pick on Mark Carney for, right? And there's plenty of things you can debate and discuss, and he'd make a good Pierre Poilievre 2.0. Oh no, don't do it to him. You can't do that to the Conservative Party. Jesus Christ. A lot of hair with no hot air with no balloon, and no destination. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of substance. Unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of substance. But alas, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a good time. We'll look at another one sometime, probably. We have some more conservatives to look at that are supposedly the good ones that have shit to say that we should go look at. I've got a list of them that I've thrown off to the side, so we'll take a look at some of those another day. That's it for me today. I will be back tomorrow, but I will be back I might be back a little bit earlier, but I'm going to be back for a shorter period of time because on Monday, I have, over on Debate Hub, I have Dapper Dino and Chris Shelton joining me, and you should absolutely come and check that out. We're going to be discussing Scientology and the Scientology runners, and it's going to be really funny. It's going to be really interesting. For anybody who doesn't know, Chris Shelton is an ex-Scientologist, and Dapper Dino is a guy who talks about young Earth creationism on his own channel that knows things about Scientology. I'm going to get on out of here. Make sure you go check that out. It's going to be a good one. Have a good day, everybody. I'm Audi 5000, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. This guy's a fucking idiot.
Scared, Daddy?